Hello, everybody. I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Georgianna.
And this is Wholehearted Loving, where we teach you simple tools to grow the muscles you need to be with big feelings and overwhelming sensations in your body.
Whether you have active challenges in your life or relationships, or whether you're just here to learn to be kinder to yourself, we pull out all the little things that make life feel better, the things that give you a sense of hope and direction.
So if you're too hard on yourself or on others,
if you want to feel real, deep connection in your life and relationships,
even if you want to reprogram your inner critic while you're sleeping,
this is a great place to be.
So welcome, and we hope this episode brings you just the tidbit you needed today.
Enjoy the show.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. Today, we're going to be talking about a subtle, tiny, very impactful aspect of shadow work, which is truth-telling and, more specifically, stating the obvious. Mm-hmm. You'll be able to find self-reflection prompts for this episode and every episode on our Instagram at Wholehearted Loving, and you can find more about us and how to practice with us live at wholeheartedloving.com. And we will start with a body-based self-connection practice.
You know what? I love that this is our podcast and we can do whatever we want, because every time you're introing us, I just want to bop and I just want to like move around. And you know what? I'm like, it's our podcast. We can do whatever we want. And it's a nice feeling to remember places and situations where you have more agency and choice than you realize.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you get to notice like, oh, actually, I feel a bop. Now I get to inquire in this new environment. Hey, would it be cool if I bopped for a minute? And you might discover that it is cool when you thought it wasn't.
I think I realized that I really like to bop, and it never occurred to me before, because if you listen to a previous episode where we talked about performance, bopping is a no-no. That's not professional or classy or any of the things that I'm supposed to be. So no bop allowed until now.
Allowed. Yeah. And the truth would be, and this is something I would have, I think, maybe almost always brought to spaces, is like, doesn't feel like bopping is cool here, but I feel like bopping. Does anybody else feel like bopping? And then everyone's like, oh my God, we get to bop. Like, it's so much fun to bop. That's one of the aspects of bringing the truth.
I have always loved that about you. And it was so freeing to be around someone like you who's like, who wants to bop. And then like you slowly see everyone's like, first some faces look mortified, some look excited right away, some look mortified. And then eventually everyone's like, maybe I do want to bop. You mean it's allowed here? And then everyone is literally glowing, right? Because they're like, oh, I can do whatever I want. And also if I have no desire to bop, I don't have to. And you're not going to make me wrong or judge me for that. And you're just going to happily bop around me. Amazing. So bop away if you want to. And our practice today, well, first I'm going to have a sip of water because I'm allowed.
And you too are allowed, listener.
Yes. We're going to practice stating the obvious. So let's practice that in a pretty non-emotionally charged, not very vulnerable kind of way, which is look around your space and let your eyes track the room and find something that you like in your space. And once you find it, maybe feel your butt on the seat or your feet on the floor, whatever your hand is holding or touching. And look at this thing and say, I like you. I like you. And maybe you even want to like couple it with what exactly it is. It might be, I really like you, picture on the wall of the flowers. And notice what that is like to have that moment with that object and be able to just state the obvious and say the thing and turn and find another thing that you like. And tell that thing, I like you, or I enjoy you, or seeing you here makes me feel a certain kind of nice way. Right? Whatever that is, whatever that descriptive way is for you, say that out loud. See how that feels.
I like this headboard, but I do not like the memories it contains.
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe you can tell the headboard what you like about it.
Oh, I like your shape. I like your fabric. I like the precision with which you have been tufted, and I like your furniture nails.
Nice. Right? And just have a moment, feel that. Feel what it's like to hang in the obvious of the things you like about it, and then to state it out loud. My partner just bought a piece of art, and it's art painted on driftwood, and my eye just caught it. I'm like, I like your pretty colors. I like that I can see the grains of wood through the whole painting. I like that about you. And I almost feel like a sense of, let me tell you what I like about you. Right? Yeah.
I get this subtle underlayer. So there's two bed related items here, both of which I like aesthetically. One which contains unpleasant memories, and another which contains lovely memories, but also a reminder that somebody died, which doesn't feel nice. And then over here, there's this wooden number 3, which I like aesthetically, but also it contains just delightful memories
Mm-hmm.
and how much agency I have in being with any of these aspects of myself, right? When you prompted me to this headboard that I love the shape of, but not the memories of, you're like, hang with the parts that you love for a minute, say them out loud. That is a much more pleasant orientation for me. I feel better looking at the object with that focus. And I get to discern, like, oh, of all the objects over here, there are some icky feelings, but that is just pure delight. I'm going to focus more on that right now because that feels true and nice.
Yes, right. So you're choosing where to orient your focus in terms of what feels better as a whole, what feels better, but also when you're looking at the things that stir up maybe some mixed feelings, you also get to choose which of the feelings you want to orient to. And not that orienting to the not as pleasant ones are bad or wrong. You might just think in this moment they're not necessary or helpful or where I want to spend my time and focus and energy. And I really love this because that's going to be most of the human beings we relate with and have relationships with. We don't love every single aspect of them to the same degree. There's going to be things we don't love about people or things we don't like about people, but we still love parts of who they are. We still love elements of our dynamic with them. At different times and different moments, we're going to like and love more or less. And we are practicing choosing to see the parts that I like and to name them, even if it's obvious that I like that in you already. Or I think it should be obvious to you that I like that about you. And so we're talking a little bit of the value of saying things out loud that you already feel and believe and experience that a lot of us think are like, well, what's the use and what's the point of saying that out loud? Obviously, that other person knows already, right? If I didn't care about them, I wouldn't be here. So why do I have to tell them I care about them? Isn't that ridiculous? Shouldn't they know already? Well, human beings like to be reminded of how much they matter, right? How much you care, especially during moments that feel hard.
Totally. And we're pretty much constantly scanning our environment for danger and fear and disconnection. So anything that counteracts those, even when it's obvious, are super helpful and regulating. And I want to highlight here that we're talking about a segment of truth telling. There's the general topic of truth telling, relaying hard truths, hidden things that we don't want to reveal. But in this instance, we're talking about naming the obvious because we think it's obvious and the other person doesn't necessarily. And things that seem clear to us and go unspoken can't be then picked up for the universe to deliver you whatever you need, right? Saying things out loud has so much power interpersonally and for our own experience of manifestation, I would say.
Yeah. So in general, saying things out loud is so powerful. And then notice what your patterns are. Which theme of things do you tend to say out loud? And which ones do you tend not to say out loud because you assume they should be a given or known, or you've said them before already, right? And see if you're willing to be curious about what might it be like to say some of these things that I think are a given and obvious out loud. These things that show your care, that something or someone matters to you. And, you know, you said something about scanning and safety, I think. And I remember one of my teachers, she has done a lot of scientific research on the brain and all this fancy stuff that I don't fully understand. But what I remember of what she taught, one of the things she taught us is, and I don't remember how often this happens in a span of time, but is crazy a lot. I'm going to say that's the scientific number. Okay. Crazy much, a lot. We're always as humans scanning for, am I safe and do I matter? Am I safe and do I matter? Am I safe and do I matter? Like every interaction we're having, that is going on in the background.
Yeah.
Besides, like, you know, am I safe? Like physically, am I in danger here? And then also, am I emotionally safe here? And do I matter here? Do I belong? Right. And so anytime you could offer a little bit more of a reminder or reassurance to someone that they are safe with you and they matter to you and your relationship matters to you, especially when you're about to or in the middle of or just had a hard conversation or a hard situation that you're navigating together, has a real high return on investment. And what
Mm-hmm.
I mean by that is it's something you already feel for the person or the relationship. It's not like you're lying. It's not like you got to muster it up. It's already there,
Mm-hmm.
right? All you're doing, I'm going to say all in air quotes, all you're doing is saying the obvious out loud. Now, for some people, that might be like, never occurred to me to say that out loud. For other people, it will be, well, that feels very vulnerable to say out loud, right? So even though you might be in a relationship with someone or in a friendship with someone, and by the whole way your relationship is set up and how you're involved and engaging in the relationship, it's obvious. It would be obvious to someone that this person matters to you, that, you know, that they matter. But for some of us, just to sit across from someone and look at them and have them look at us and us actually saying the words, you matter to me. This relationship, this connection matters to me. And I want this to work out. That can feel very vulnerable, very tender to say. And
Mm-hmm.
yet it adds so much value,
So much. Yeah. And it's so
right?
funny that we would be stymied in this way from something that we think is obvious, yet we feel that we can't say it out loud. There's
Mm-hmm.
a lot of interesting subtext there for the person personally. Are
Mm.
they withholding? Are they afraid? Do they feel embarrassed or silly? Like, what's in there? That's what the shadow work excavates when it comes
Yeah.
to something so simple like that. If there's any block, why might that be?
Getting curious, right? Of how might not saying these things be an attempt to protect myself, right? And I'll tell maybe a little funny story with my partner and I. I love words. I love talking. He's a man of much fewer words, and I love him. We're just different. And he can get into the, well, isn't that obvious? Isn't that obvious by all the things that I do or how I show up? And like, yeah, it is. It is obvious that you care about me, you love me, all the things. And he does say those things. Not that he doesn't say those things, but I'm like insatiable and I want more. And I remember saying to him, I'm like, I feel like, because I'm an energetic feeler, like I feel these things in people. I'm like, I feel like you love me and appreciate me and adore me, like more than sometimes you say out loud with your words. And he's like, yep. Mm-hmm. And then I go to this place, right? Because I think it illustrates a point. I mean, whether it's fair or not in conversation, I don't care. I'm like, if I died tomorrow, do you feel like the amount of love and care that you have for me has been fully expressed with words? Like, wouldn't it be a shame that all this love you hold for me, I never hear because you think it's a given, it's obvious, you've told me before? And his answer was, yeah, that would.
Love those one word answers.
All that love gets wasted, wasted. And when I work with couples, when I work with parents, we have this conversation a lot. And I try to show them, like, you love your child so much, or you love your partner. I can tell you have such deep love for them. Like, yes, you're having a hard time right now. Like, isn't it a shame that they never get to really feel this love you have for them? Right? Because maybe the old protective pattern is to behave this way or withhold that or use this as an attempt to teach a lesson or whatever. Like, what if you could share and they could know how much they matter to you and learn the lesson? What if they could know how much they matter to you and learn what would feel better for you? Would that be nice? Would that be pleasant or enjoyable? Are you open to that? Would that add anything to your life? Never had anyone say no.
To distinguish here between the words that don't match energy or action, because I think
Mm-hmm.
this would have confused me in the past. Like, oh, they tell me they love me so much, and they're not really acting like it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. This is about, I do feel this for this person. It's genuine. It's real. But I
Mm-hmm.
either tend to lean towards instructions, corrections, practical information, or just pointing out the things that I don't like,
Mm-hmm.
right? You could just tell the bed all the things you don't like about it. But there's also things you like about it. Like, would that be helpful? And it's also noticing what would be helpful in the moment, even if you're approaching it completely from a pragmatic place. if you're already having a hard conversation, do you really think it's helpful to only highlight the things that you don't like about the person?
No.
No, maybe not. So this came up.
Would it be cathartic?
Yes, but that's separate, right? Cathartic is important. And that's why we do the empty the buckets, right? That's why we do the shadow work expression, is because that fight energy that might want to come out in words and sounds does need a place. It's just that with your person in that moment might not be the best place and the best time.
Not
Right.
helpful.
And so this came to be because I was recently working with someone, and they were sharing with me a win, which was, my partner and I had a really hard conversation, and it went much better than we both sort of expected. Pleasantly surprised. Amazing. Okay, well, what do you think you did that was a bit different than usual, than the normal pattern? And she mentioned, I think what I did, and I don't know if she realized the significance of it at the time, but enough to name that, hey, I did this part differently. She's like, before we got into it, I said, I told him this relationship matters to me, right? And I'm paraphrasing here. This relationship matters to me. You matter to me. I want this to work out. And she said, just saying that softened something. And then he also said something similar. Yeah, you matter to me. This relationship matters to me. I want this to work out. And then they headed into talking about the hard thing. And she was starting to see how significant it was, what a high return on investment that is for providing a more helpful foundation to do hard stuff together.
Yeah.
Right. And I
Teamwork.
was like, and she had noted something really important. She's like, but yeah, like it's sort of obvious. Obviously, if I wasn't in this, I'd be gone already.
Not obvious.
And not obvious sometimes when our attachment wounding is getting stirred up and we're afraid that we're doing a hard thing with someone, it means that they might be out of here. Yeah. Right. So the importance of saying, hey, we're still good, even though this feels hard right now, even though we're about to talk about something that's hard, or we are talking about something that's hard, or we just talked about something that was really hard. And I want you to know I'm still in this. I want you to know I still love you. I want you to know you still matter to me. This matters to me. I want this. I want to work with you on that. Those words are so significant when they're your truth already. I'm not saying lie to the person if that's not your truth, but how often is that the actual truth that we don't say that out loud to people?
And it's so touching. Like, imagine somebody meaningfully saying to you, you matter and you're safe. Disarming is, I think, a good word for it, and like really deeply meaningful and comforting.
Mm-hmm. And I think I really learned the significance of this through my parenting journey. And when I was a new mom, I really love the teachings of Dr. Gordon Neufeld. He's very attachment based, and he names it, I think, bridging the discipline. And what he means by that is, as a parent, you're going to need to discipline your children. You're going to need to set some boundaries and teach them what's okay and what's not okay in different settings. When you do that as a parent, no matter how loving you are, there's going to be chances that your child has a hard time hearing that, right? And he says it's important to bridge the discipline, meaning you want to let your child know, hey, that behavior was not okay. We're going to have to resolve that, find a solution, repair that. And we're still good. I still love you. You're still a good kid, right? And all of a sudden it settles that kid because they're like, the whole, am I safe? Do I matter? That's answered now. Now it's just about, oh, that thing I did wasn't so great, and we got to figure that out. Okay. And they're on my side, right? It makes total difference. But that's something that I think in mainstream parenting, was never the norm, right? It's let me make you feel really crappy about yourself. Let me actually intentionally threaten the relationship, right? In hopes that that scares you enough to now do the thing I think you should do, right? A lot of us are conditioned from that fear-based relationship threatening thing, right? And if we're honest, we might have all done that in our own way of threatening the relationship. When you're not actually going to walk out on that relationship. You have no intention of leaving. But for whatever reason, you want to throw that in there as a threat, right? And it's so damaging to do that because all of a sudden, not only are you dealing with whatever is hard already, now the attachment in the relationship is threatened. And now you got people's attachment defenses up. Right. And so it was so helpful. And I remember this over the years with my kids. when I had to set some pretty hard boundaries and they were definitely not happy with it and feeling not good. And I remember every time I tried to add in and with some physical touch, because I knew I could tell my kids were open to it. And I said, hey, bud, I still love you. We're still good. You're a good kid, right? This is not about you being a bad kid. All right, we'll figure it out. And I could just tell everything, like everything just settles differently.
Yeah. I wonder how many people are crying listening to that. That's a
Yeah.
powerful message that most of us did not receive.
Mm-hmm. And it's stating the obvious, right? And this was another thing of stating the obvious when I work with parents, but this, I share a lot of the when I work with parents things, because I think when we use the kids, we can all sort of see it from a different lens. And then there's something reparative about that as an inner child getting to hear some of these things. But it doesn't matter whether we're children or adults. People need this. People need this to feel okay, right? And sometimes there's parents who have experienced a lot of trauma. So this piece can feel very buried. But unless there's something very serious going on, and even when there is something very serious going on, for the most part, parents love their children. They want to do well by them. Some people aren't able to because of things they've endured and patterns of protection they're still in. But I'm speaking about where parents know I love my children unconditionally, right? They know that. And the problem is that their children don't know that. Children, how would your children know that? Children don't know that. You know that as a parent. You know that you're not just dropping them off on the side of the road, never picking them up. Like, no matter how pissed you are at them and you know how frustrated or tired or exhausted, you know that. Like, even if you have moments where you're like, that's what I have to do with my life, right? I've had those thoughts. Wasn't going to follow through, but I've had them. But like, you know, as a parent, that your love is unconditional for your child. And they don't know that. And we assume they know that. But your child only experiences you through the things you say, through the way you treat them, through how you show up. So if we are not stating the obvious in all the different ways that are easy for them to hear and comprehend, then what you know to be obvious isn't obvious to them. And it's the same with our adult people, our partners, our work people, our friends, our neighbors, our family members,
Yeah.
right? You love these people, you care about them. But if we were to, and I would give parents this exercise before, I'm like, would you be willing to voice record? It was tape record at the time, years ago. Tape record yourself for like 10 minutes in the morning or just all morning and just do a little tally of what gets said in your home by the adults to the children and categorize it under instruction, correction, demand, appreciation, affectionate, like caring, loving words. Just categorize it. Before I even finished talking, like parents just looked at me mortified and were cackling. They're like, oh God. Oh geez. Because they knew. They're like, oh, I
I
just
see
say
what you're getting
those
at.
things out loud. I don't say, but I'm like, but you do love them, right? You appreciate them. You see the good in them. What about that stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, they know that already. Yeah. And then, you know, I like to use extremes. You said in a previous episode, extremes help you. I'm like, well, what if everyone who's already once told you that they loved you never told you again?
Ooh. Oh, bleh. No.
What if everyone who likes you never told you again that they like you or what they like about you because they've told you that already? Or what if they go even further and they say, well, obviously I like Steph. Why should I have to tell her that I like her or what I like about her? If I hang out with her, it's obvious I like her. Is
And
that fun?
imagine when someone says to you, I like you. Simple, nice, feels really good.
Right? When you feel like it's a genuine thing, a genuine,
Yeah.
truthful expression, it's like,
Yeah.
thanks. That's nice to hear.
There's so much power in what you're describing here. Like this quality, this skill that we can develop is effectively why so many people turn to Jesus. Like they literally think Jesus is the only person who can love and accept me for who I am. Like
Mhm.
bajillions of people have this deep belief. And this is
Mhm.
something really simple and fundamental that we can do for each other that will improve everyone's experience and deepen connection beyond what we can actually believe until someone like Georgianna says out loud, like, hey, what's being said in the home? Dang.
Yeah. And, if Jesus does that for you, that's fantastic. What we're saying is we, as regular little human being minions, can also say that to each other, and it has a very powerful impact. So, why rob ourselves of that and each other of that?
Yeah. Simple
So,
gifts.
say
Free.
the obvious thing.
Yeah.
Say the thing that's a given. Say the thing you already said once.
Yeah. And
Because we
notice.
certainly, sorry, we certainly say the thing that we don't like about
Yeah,
someone or what they're doing more than once,
we do.
right?
Yeah. Notice the emotional impact of these suggestions as well. I'm thinking of the emotional response my mother would have if I asked her to voice record what. And for many of these people who are really buffered against big feelings, that will cause a big emotional response. And that's also
Mhm.
good to notice.
Yes. And that's why we practice with objects first. Practice
Yeah.
with objects. No one's saying, like, go do this hardest thing for you to do that you've told yourself for years is unsafe and too big feelings to do. Talk to
Mhm.
your lamp, And then what we have people do is, like, pull up a picture of this person on your phone. Say to the picture that you like them or love them or what you like about them, and notice how it feels in your body, right? Start noticing them in your physical space and looking at them. Even if you're not saying it out loud, say it in your mind. I like you. I actually really love you. I care about you. I like this about you. Notice how it feels to be in the space, same physical space as someone, and they don't know what you're thinking about them. But you're looking at them and you're thinking these things that are just a given and obvious. And that's practicing to be able to, at some point, tip over that edge and maybe say it out loud, right? And if you can't say it out loud yet, send it in a text, send it in a voice note, something. Don't let it go to waste. That's my point. Don't let
I
it go to
love it.
waste.
It's a beautiful point. Thank you, Gigi.
Yes.
I'm aware of time.
Mm-hmm.
We have to go. So
Yeah.
I like you, and I like your closing practices also. Do you have one in mind?
I like you. Okay. I have a rock your baby practice.
Hmm. Oh, I just swaddled myself conveniently.
Yeah. I don't know if that was subconsciously saying to me, let's rock your baby, but pretend like you have a baby. Or if you don't like a human baby, some of us are not drawn to human babies. That's okay. Imagine it's a fur baby and you're rocking your fur baby. Mm. Yeah.
Oh, that's so nice.
It is nice.
Yeah. Thank
Yeah. So have fun. Have
you.
fun. Say the thing.
Mm-hmm.
At the very least, think the thing.
Yeah. Feel the thing.
Imagine saying the thing. Feel the thing.
Yeah.
Right? Even feel the thing. How often do we walk around our day not actually taking an intentional moment to feel the love or care you have for the people who you're doing tons of stuff for, doing tons of stuff with, right? But, like, really, like, I don't always remember, but it's so impactful every time I look at my kid and I take a moment to be like, just to myself, I really love you. I really love that kid. Like, that's a nice inside feeling, right? Yeah. And we got to practice for another time, but yeah, I'll save it. I'll save it.
Okay. Well, then, that's it for this week. Share something nice with somebody that you think about them. And thank you guys for being here. Please do like, follow, and subscribe. And if anything we've said here today has been helpful for you, please share with somebody that you care about. We'll see you next time.
Bye.